All right, so we'll cover a lot of the same ground as far as commentary goes, but
Yep. Can you invite Bolt?
already
Thanks.
did.
Sweet.
Select your hero.
Okay.
We must stop them.
Once more into the breach.
All right, into the deep end we go.
Yeah.
Job-breaking news.
All righty. So this is our 3-player race submission for Game Over Cancer as part of a 3v3 race. You may have already seen the other submission. It came in a little bit earlier. My name is ateatree. You may see the player 2 diamond over my head, depending on whose feed we ultimately end up submitting. I am playing Splinter. I also have with me here Siberian Bull 9 and BrassWolf. Would you like to introduce yourselves, fellas?
Yes, hello, I am Cyber9. I am player 3 and I'm playing as Donatello. There's a reason I'm playing as Donatello as opposed to probably what you would normally see is Casey Jones. There's a couple advantages. One, Donatello's dash elbow does 2 damage. 2, Donatello's taunt is shorter than Casey's. And then number 3, his super lasts a little bit longer than Casey's.
Also, he does machines, which is pretty cool.
But just give him a minute.
Teamwork is the way.
We'll get into that. You'll have plenty of minutes to play games. And BrassWolf?
I am Brass, and I'm playing Raphael here, who you'll see come into the fold once we get into some of the boss fights later on. Made famous by Turtles in Time's runs of the 90s. And
Indeed,
So,
if you're a longtime fan of games of this nature, as many of the developers at Tribute Games are, some of them having worked on previous Turtles games, you may know that Raphael seems to be the developer's favorite. He's always ended up just a little bit stronger than everybody else, especially in Turtles in Time.
Perfect timing.
Oh, you bitch.
How dare he?
Just a minute.
a stick in the mud.
Oh, that's me. I got a stick.
I got a bigger stick.
That's true.
That's because it's 2 sticks taped together, it looks like.
Also, quite possibly true.
This'll temper their enthusiasm.
So if you're a fan of the 1980s, early 1990s series, you will probably already recognize everything about the visual presentation here, from like the very episode-style title cards to everything about the art style. The character designs are just like you remember. And then the music, courtesy of T. Lopes, who also created the Sonic Mania soundtrack, and a few other contributing artists who you might hear later. Just emulates the feel of a Konami arcade machine using modern instruments, is the way I always describe it to people.
Just a minute.
General tactics here are much like you're seeing here. There are a lot of screens where you'll split up your players across different sides, left, right, up, down on the screen to maximize how much coverage you're getting with individual enemies. And then you're also paying attention to your allies just in case somebody gets by. Now you see why Raphael is crucial on every co-op run.
Because by Raphael Lee, he does machines, he's cool, he's a party dude.
Yeah, Raphael is truly a turtle's turtle. He does a lot of cool stuff, and he also messes up boss's AI with that dash kick of his. The long and short is that that dash kick, and against any enemy who can't be dashed through and like instantly defeated in the case of foot soldiers, it tries to bounce 3 times. And the 3rd bounce tends to come up when most bosses would be trying to get up from a knockdown state. So as a result of that, when it hits them at that specific time, the boss AI doesn't seem to know what to do.
Also, bigger roll.
Oh man, I just fixed the party wagon.
Here we go. Everybody basically immediately split up to their marks to clear one area of the screen on that first screen there. I Things like power pizzas do also follow each individual character's move speed. So Raphael goes much faster, but has a relatively short attack range, and characters like Donatello or Splinter are kind of more like piloting a yacht. You just push them in the right direction. Online does mess up the timing for that. You just kind of push the character in the right direction and hope they get where they're going. I'll go ahead and stay on the left this time, so I'll get the extra enemy pickup.
Watch perfect time. Just a minute. Just a minute. Take this.
Haji.
Just a minute. Now that's what I
Yeah, ultimately, I suppose you could say there's like 3 different classes of optimization for an online co-op run. There is the first level, which is knowing what to do and where to be to clear the screens as quickly as possible. There is adjusting for your fellow players and like paying attention to how enemies move around as a result of where they are relative to other characters. And then there's also adjusting for online eccentricities like enemies going down and showing as defeated on everyone's screen, but getting up and fighting again anyways. So, there's certainly always enough to keep things interesting. Oh, I saw enemies there still.
Yeah, I did too. Like, what's going on here? I guess we'll drag that body with us.
Again, like I said, eccentricities of online multiplayer. Thank you for cleaning up downstairs, Donnie.
And that's what I do. See, there used to be a mop. There used to be a bristle at the other end of the stick, but things happen.
Indeed. I got the screen. Thank you, thank you. Monster is rummaging up his bingo card. Raph will continue his wily ways of
Come and get me.
keeping bosses occupied. Yeah, there's a lot of little things that go into like just where you are relative to the enemy, what angle you're attacking from that can adjust how well or at what point in the animation they get locked up. At what point in the animation is only germane a couple of times, but
Mutants over Broadway.
it's definitely one of the levels where we'd want the music turned up in the run. One of the 3 vocal tracks during the game. Arguably the auditory highlights.
Like
And also the game's first
Plus.
auto-scroller. Sorry, you were saying?
Sewer Surfing Plus.
Sewer surfing, but the sewer is all asphalt.
Right. They finally paved over it because Racky left his territory. Now they can't roam it since his vehicle's destroyed.
Hey, spoilers, we haven't gotten there yet.
Just a minute.
That was from last episode. An episode, or no, after book 4.
As you can see there, while we all know the priority is to get rid of the fleas as quickly as possible, there are many ways to get that done, all of them equally as effective.
Just a minute.
Donnie is very effective if that holds placed well, but it also does have a drag effect on enemies, so if anything doesn't go down, then you have to kind of readjust where you're aiming at. And since none of the rest of the characters are quite as good as math as Donnie is, it can get a little iffy sometimes. This is a false boss fight, and therefore is a Very good time to hydrate, stretch, read donations, talk about the charity, whatever else you need to do. There's several very similar occasions during the next auto-scroller about 4 levels ahead.
Just a minute.
3 on the right, 3 on the left.
Side cyclone.
And 2 bikes. That's one of the few screens in this whole tunnel where it actually makes a big difference how quickly you clear, because the screen will not advance until those blue foot soldiers are defeated. I'll get these 2 sets of 3 here. Very nice, Donnie.
Yeah, for some reason my brain farted and I was like, wait, is it the copper enemies or the next set of fleas? It was the bigger set of fleas. Either way, I was ready.
Indeed.
Alright. This thing.
Title bashing time. We're gonna stomp you wimps. Try one of these sides. Side cyclone.
Conster appears to have found his bingo card.
Just a minute.
Wait. Okay. And did a bit of a teleport over here, but by waiting until it gets to the far right side of the screen, that's the fastest clear.
Oh, that was a gold.
Yep.
Yeah, we gained some time for more effective flea clearing. Like, you wouldn't think it, but the amount of time you can gain from a decent version of that level versus a good is like 20 plus seconds. It's genuinely surprising.
This ain't gonna be a walk in the park.
Yeah. Conster pointing out that if their car also has teleportation technology, he's calling it a teleport car. And I'm saying if their car also has teleportation technology, what are we doing the rest of this running around the city for? They should just be teleporting to Krang's body parts. The whole game's a moot point. The turtles have already been defeated. Yes. Right, very much the why didn't they use the eagles?
What if machine?
Have a shot. Now that's what I call a turtles team up. Just a minute.
Here, let me see if I can get this. No, a little early. If you hit that enemy at just the right time, it'll keep its initial manhole cover, but a second one will spawn from outside, out of its model and take out the rest of that wave for you. I mean, it makes sense. If April can carry a million billion boom arms and cameras and stuff, it makes sense that any given foot soldier can hold a couple of extra manhole covers. Just a matter of making him cough them up.
Just a minute.
Yeah. Team swimming through air there as we do our little flutters to get over the stampede.
Synchronized.
Check out my new secret weapon.
And avoid bananas. As much as potassium is very good for you,
That one almost
monkeys are very bad for you.
That one almost hit me from way downtown.
I saw that. That's a 3-pointer. Sign that monkey to a 1-year contract.
I'm sure the Lakers could use him, because certainly LeBron hasn't already ruined that franchise.
All right, I don't feel comfortable about making monkey and NBA player comparisons. Maybe not.
I mean, I was just making I was making a basketball joke. I don't know what the rest of you were doing.
Beating up animals in the zoo.
So yeah, so far we've got teleporting cars, teleporting bananas.
Can you dig it, suckers?
Everybody's working on their teleportation technology. So yeah, there are a couple of double boss fights here, and the practice is much the same, although you can't generally lock both of them up at once. So do the best you can here to keep both of them grouped together. We did do a lot of damage to Dirtbag. Didn't quite get far enough away because we were focusing on ground chuck.
I'm gonna try to get him again.
Okay. Yeah, you typically find after he's just come back up that he's not in knockdown immune state.
There it is.
I'm going
For the ending.
Oh, we're getting.
Did you see it on your state? I saw him doing the lantern focus move on my screen. Either way, we defeated him before he could do anything.
Krang's head is getting away, dudes.
Yes. And another glad for our troubles.
Which is like a super gold because our last run gold did that.
That's true. Now the Rat King. The motto of the Rat King is the Rat King does whatever he wants. And hopefully you won't get to see why. We do our job right.
Oh no, it's not us doing our job, it's him doing his job. He's getting locked.
Little column A, little column B.
Teamwork is the way. Action and reaction.
Oh, not gonna get fast trains. I didn't have a super up. So the fastest clear on each of these screens involves getting the enemies on the train tracks before the trains can start running them over. Doing that successfully will cause the next train to spawn in just as soon as the last one is cleared the screen.
Action and reaction.
In some cases, even before the next train can come into the screen. Kind of like the old analogy that Darbian and Summoning Salt and the likes of them use about the train leaving the station when describing train rules. This is a bit more literal, but the idea is the same.
Should I have cue the Summoning Salt theme?
Indeed. And then Master Splinter. This
Is the way. Ingenuity.
And Master Splinter's real name was Matt Turk.
Thank you. Brings a real tear to my eye. Raph take left.
Watch and learn.
You didn't put him right.
Or not.
He said Raph take left. He did say that. So we're clear.
I thought he said I.
Nope.
It's fine. They go down all the same. I was thinking it from the perspective of Faster Connor, but hey, whatever.
You need practice.
So by the time he taunts, I would have killed the other one, then I'm starting to taunt, then screen moves, yada yada yada.
Indeed.
Just a minute.
Bounced a couple of those a little too far away.
Time. Check out my new secret weapon.
Let's see if this works.
Let's go. Come on, it was easy last
I am
time.
the Rat King. You're trespassing on royal grounds.
I think you back up a little bit and then you go for it.
Just a minute.
And so if you don't get the phase where you lock him up, instead you are treated to,
You need practice.
whenever he feels like jumping back up. You can also just trade out supers like this and get extra damage off him this way because he reacts slower in online co-op because he's waiting to see what actually happens from the players. That was a pretty good standard fight.
I mean, I'll take that fight any day of the week. If we don't get
Indeed.
the block, 'cause,
Wait, are we? That was also a gold.
You
yeah,
made it.
I had 20 seconds.
Oh, yeah.
Fine.
That was very clean. He only went up once. I didn't even get enough time to explain
Plus
the
a lot better too.
the 5 different patterns that you can see. and where you have to hide to not get bitten up by his rats. You'd think Master Splinter would be able to work something out with them, but not so much.
They're bums.
Just a minute.
Now that's what I call a turtles team up.
Just a minute.
There's still one alive on the left. Well, unalive on the left. Thank you. And yes, that is correct. Concer is correct. I did incorrectly describe the Darbian analogy earlier as a train station rather than a bus station, which is what it is.
Striking vortex. Come and get me.
Look, we're nerds and pedants. We have to be correct. It's just who we are. I get it. And I was wrong, because I was stretching my attention to multiple places.
Just a minute.
Donnie is very good at intercepting enemies who have yet to jump onto the screen in much the same way as Casey and other characters with the largest AoE moves. Well, at least they knock us over towards the next screen.
Yeah, it's all about evasion rolling.
Indeed. There is a boss later where that may come into play in a meaningful way. Okay, it did kill him. I was worried.
Yes, buddy.
Because as soon as those guys get, if you let them get back up, as soon as they do, they will be swinging their maces again. You would prefer not to have to deal with that. Next one. A little teamwork for us. There we go.
It's like I missed the bounce there.
Thankfully, the game let me sneak in a hit. Alrighty, can't still unlock this boss, but if you get your rotations worked out, you can get some extra attacks in. So, Raph, if you please.
In. Oh.
Check out my new secret weapon.
Yeah, Splinter, I find, can lead off with that normal attack combo and then finish with the beam super as she's teleporting.
There you go.
And again.
Bounce. Go.
Had a teleport on it, so I didn't quite get the finisher off. Oh yeah, if Dawn hadn't gotten hit, the two of us kind of moved too far away, assuming she'd have more health left than that. Ah well, that's fine.
I feel like I should be doing the ground super for that second phase, considering it has a longer time. Oh well. Experiments!
Indeed.
Alright, play it.
Another missing robot piece? What a shocker.
Roof running reptiles.
Hey! Let's take them down.
Yeah, one of the other reasons I like Master Splinter as a character with vertical kicks in each direction that do multiple damage. You never have to worry about type soldiers or anything else to otherwise have an attack that just has a continuous hitbox out in front of them.
That's what I call a turtles team up.
Take this.
That's what I call a turtles team up.
Check out my new secret weapon.
You okay over there? Oop. I was gonna ask, hey, you okay over there, Donnie?
I mean,
as I
I
yeet
was-
myself off the building.
I mean, I was okay. The foot soldier was a little awkward.
He was giving you the slip? Okay. It
No,
looked a
'cause-
little
'cause-
different on our end.
Okay, because I was taunting, and it looked like he was trying to hit me or get to my box to hit me, and it never happened.
You need practice.
I see.
Look at those rotations.
Yeah, I can't knock him back down into the pit when you're... That's okay. Here, coming your way. Any way they get done.
Yep.
I'll get the 2 at the bottom.
Just a minute.
Wrath Pizza is yours.
Come and get me.
Oh, watching them jump in at a diagonal angle is really disorienting. If you're used to solo play. Don't worry, boys, I got you. Good call on the super. Enemies who can block are just annoying as the day is long if you let them get their guard up. All right, you wanna? Now you'll bounce if you hit Bebop in front of the cone,
We're
so
gonna stomp
not too
you
much to worry about
wimps.
there.
I'm good. Which one's the bad and the ugly?
Watch and burn.
Fight!
Yeah, and what typically happens in this particular double boss fight is
Wait, did we get
once the
Rocksteady
first one
too?
goes- No, he'll start moving again as soon as Bebop is dead. See?
Let's go for it.
That's the way that AI tends to behave. I was actually just trying to describe that.
No, well.
No, it's fine.
I ruined it. Start over.
Oh, shut.
Need practice.
Yeah, right.
I'll take that though. That's a good fight.
Easy peasy.
Come on, let's go.
Yeah, typically when one of them gets locked up, if the other one hasn't
Sky.
jumped away yet, he'll hang out until one of them's defeated.
Well, that's one way to avoid New York traffic.
Taunts. One of us gets the first wave. 2 of us get the first wave.
Try Cyclone!
Nice and clean. Oh, that's one on you. Girders are definitely another one of those things we could make donations for each one we hit. Ooh, thank you. I had my aim wrong. Should be another set of these after those guys. There you go. Ideally, you catch him as he's bouncing from the girder or right before he hits it. As soon as the second one's on screen, you can do a stand.
Oh hey. That one didn't want to die.
Oh yeah, you got a zombie enemy on your screen.
Just a minute.
I don't see anything here, but that's just the way those things go sometimes. We do actually try to take damage between most waves to the point where in multiplayer games, at least 2 players are injured. So we can pick up the pizzas, which, as best as we can tell, does cause the next part of the stage after the pizza screen to appear faster.
Just a minute.
I'll get the first
Yeah, so
copter.
obviously-
I'll get the first copter.
Okay.
Just a minute.
First couple even.
Yeah, so it's like 2 and 2. Either way.
Right. But yeah, generally speaking, this would be the other level in a run where it'd be very good to free donations, talk about incentives, anything else that needs to happen. Because this level, the only places to gain or lose time are at the end of each segment, like the last wave before the pizzas appear, the very beginning, which I would say we generally did quite well, and then here at the boss.
I thought you were right on top of it, but Phantom Butt Box.
Yeah, as did I, but sometimes you're just not as hungry as you thought you were, you know?
It wasn't. I bet there was some sushi on that pizza. You eat it.
Get ready
Indeed.
for some wicked wolf.
After you.
I thought bats were nocturnal.
Oop. I think I still hit with that super. Wasn't how I planned it out, but worked out okay all the same because there was somebody near. As best as I can theorize, if there's somebody near enough to Wingnut after he finishes that move, but he doesn't hit them away, he'll just go straight into the missile attack rather than flying away, which is what you don't want to see. And thankfully, that time we did not.
Well, we didn't lose
Crisis
as much
at
time
Coney
as last time, but I'll take it.
Indeed. Sean Guernsey, actually, at the run I did when I was showing off Splinter, described that when he voiced Wingnut, one of the things they asked him to do that didn't end up making him in the game was an extremely long yell as Wingnut, as though he was falling all the way to the ground. For that one cutscene there. So they basically just had him yell as Wingnut for like 20 seconds.
Well, if anything, it's practice for his DBZ audition next.
Indeed. Yeah, so like I knew he was the voice of Splinter, Shredder, and Krang. Turns out he's also 2 of the 3 Punch Frogs and like half of the bosses.
Just a minute.
It was one of those situations where he initially auditioned for just one role, which was Leonardo. And then his agent told him, well, you know, they've already given out Leonardo, but here are all the other ones that are still available. And he just said, I'll audition for all of those. So he did. I suppose you'd call it a lesson in perseverance? Something like that?
Teamwork is the way.
Elf said he is also an enormous fan of the 80s series. Apparently watched all the movies regularly as a kid. Everything like that.
I can't believe I missed that. What am I doing? I'm doing it wrong.
Good question.
I'm doing it wrong. That's the answer.
Fair. Now you saw you pulled the first couple of fleas from the middle of the air instead of...
Oh my god. Come on.
Here, I got this one. Yeah, so those black soldiers in particular are Psy throwers, and basically they have the same 4 HP as the standard purple soldier. But if they're attacked and not defeated, they will immediately jump away at a very acute angle that doesn't match most characters' jump arcs. So keeping up with them can be very difficult. You typically either want to, depending on what moves your character has access to, either flip them up into the air and defeat them there before they can land again, or just use the super so you don't have to worry about them in the first place.
Yeah, the upward, down, jump kick, upward is what I do.
Indeed. Well, that's not going to do it. I'll give it another try, Raph. And now that he's at this point, it may not work. We'll just go normal style. Got him with the barrel, which is nice.
Hey, is that a half health? The one advantage of being Donatello for this fight, too, is as he's jumping in, it gives...
Yeah, you can continue to damage him.
And my partners have time to get their supers in on him.
Hey, come back here with that android torso.
Gives him a bit of delay. And gives my partners time to hit.
I accidentally double hit a button, so I had to spend time there fixing up the splits.
Yeah,
I'm probably going to be a couple seconds off at this point.
well, I missed mine, so
Excellent.
we're a little off, but we're fine.
Remember, the bikers are technically optional until you knock them off their bikes, and then they're not.
Now that's what I call a turtle's team-up.
Well done. Discipline is key.
That was a bad idea.
Is it just me, or is this the song that most want the Konami from, like, Bury My Shell?
It's definitely a song that should have some A's in it, but it doesn't.
I know.
It's also, in my opinion, the best track in the game.
Good call.
It's just Michael Jackson's.
Come and get it. Perfect timing.
Alright, I got the super up, so I got this one.
Check out my new Just a minute. Just a minute.
Connie and that Game Boy, I swear. You're gonna get in trouble someday.
It's fine, I'm a genius. I can time it all out.
Just a minute.
And into the lovingly recreated late 1980s department store.
And the lovely recreated TMP1 TV.
Indeed.
Teamwork is the way.
Just a minute.
Look, as you may have noticed on that last screen, that was what I would call like a frictionless clear. We were basically just ready to move on immediately as the screen scroll became available. And once you get into a good flow with teammates or in a solo run, that basically becomes every screen, or almost every screen, where you're just ready to go as soon as the game will allow for it.
Now that's what I call a turtle's team-up.
Delete the
All right, let's not on this
Don't
one.
worry, Metalhead. I'll fix you.
You can technically attempt to do the boss lock on Metalhead here, but if it doesn't work out, it'll look like it did, and then the boss won't have a hitbox, and that's how you know you got it wrong. It's a real bad way to find out.
Just a minute.
And still be damaged with certain kinds of supers, even while using his protective shield.
Just a minute.
It's also clear to me now. The turtles are my friends.
Let's go.
System crush.
I didn't think that was a good fight, and yet we still golded.
Would have golded if I hadn't accidentally skipped to this split the last time I
Tonight,
hit a split.
I dine
So.
on turtles.
Dinosaur stampede.
I mean, I'm not complaining, just saying, woof.
Indeed.
Just a minute. This'll temper their enthusiasm. Go! Just a minute.
You need practice.
There's no real benefit to clearing those extra early, because you have to wait till those two come out. But
This'll temper their enthusiasm.
it still looks cool, and in most runs isn't that reason enough.
Having fun.
Okay. No, that one's on you. You did this, Raph.
This'll temper their enthusiasm.
There are certain enemy types who are kind of temperamental in that way. If you let them move out of position, or you're attacking them with a different kind of attack than you normally would, you could end up getting a very different result. I got these two. Oh, I thought my aerial super got that one. Thank you, thank you.
Just a minute. Try one of these size.
Hit this one left to instantly KO the first one. We see Pikeman, or no, Naginata. Pike's a short spear, Naginata's a long spear. The more you know, right? Video games can teach you all sorts of interesting things. Donnie, this one's all you. All right, everybody else take 5. Read some donations, get a drink of water. Probably not enough time to get up and go to the bathroom, but other than that.
There we go. Now we don't have to wait for. Now I didn't have to wait for him that time. Much better. Much better.
Grab that pizza on the way in.
Glory to the Triceraton Empire.
It's over.
S'il vous plaît, Raphael.
Come and get me.
Watch and learn.
Yeah, so Zorak generally is a rather annoying enemy. Has the ability to attack from a lot of different angles, can summon allies, and we don't want to have to put up with all that, so we just don't.
Triceraton. No!
Easy peasy.
We must go underground, my children.
It won't fly. Wow! This lab is a technological marvel.
That's the first time where everyone taunted there. Was not ready for that.
You need practice.
Well, if forward is a soldier immediately, then do that. Like when you're standing in just the edge of the dirt, you'll beat them to their shots. But from the non-player one position, I was not quite where I intended to be. Nice. Yeah, all the rest of these should just be easy solos.
Now that's what I call a turtle.
Speaking of, we were talking about co-op moves very early on. It's the first time we've seen one outside of the both allies attack together in a while. I got thrown across the level. Didn't even realize what was happening until I'd almost reached my destination.
This cave gives me the creeps.
Speaking of all the things that are so lovingly created about the game.
Yes, a classic turtle line.
This cave is creepy.
I got bottom.
You don't get the... Actually, you do get the text pop-ups in some cases, but not all. Conster very much an appreciator of all the little nods to Turtles in Time here and there. No disagreement here.
Just a minute.
Alright, get to the bottom. One super should take out all these guys if properly timed. To the bottom. No time for taunting, Dr. Jones.
Just a minute.
Taunt when we get here. Not a moment before.
Just a minute.
They did have a nice picture the other day. Indiana Jones, the kid who was
I saw that.
Data. Whatever. I know him as Data too, because he was in Goonies.
Just a minute.
Indeed. Alright, I guess I'll use my super here. 1, 2, 3. To do a aerial super. Same here. Donatello can also work.
Just a minute.
Discipline is the key. Ninjutsu strike.
Just a minute.
That's right. I'm gonna make you wait.
You would encourage the audience to boo and hiss at such a moment.
Turtles, I'll
I mean,
have my
I don't
revenge.
mind. They can boo.
Be reasonable, Baxter. You're a fly of science.
Check out my new secret weapon.
Hey.
Watch and learn.
Alright.
Yeah, I knew we were going to get it that time. He went into that phase much earlier than usual.
Well,
We were not in our game there.
at least we didn't freeze.
Suppose it could be worse.
That's a goal.
We did lose the prior submission to hitting him right as he went into the phase transition.
Like this?
No, apparently he just had 1 health left that time.
I trust I have made my point.
We'll take the time loss in light of not freezing the game and we'll move on.
Technodrome Redux.
Considering we're still a minute and change ahead of the 105.
Just a minute.
We'll see how well our luck holds through the Technodrome.
Easy stage.
I mean, if you're Master Splinter, it can be. Because Master Splinter is got very strong normal attack strings, enough to defeat any stone soldier on his own in basically a single continuous motion. In a way that, as you might see here, other characters cannot.
Well, I do have a combination that generally works when I'm doing solo for take down a stone soldier. It's just a stagger combination. So like I go 1 2 1 2 1 2 3 4.
Gotcha. That said, having the super up makes things a lot easier. And it's generally recommended where you can make it work.
Of course. But you know, figure co-op, I got you guys to do that. Because
Not wrong.
I'm Donatello. I'm slow. I got reach, but I'm slow.
Look, I'm also over here on a character with the same speed as Donnie.
Yeah, but you got it. You got age and experience.
Thanks for pulling those two right into us. There we go. Everybody just super on top of each other. As long as the enemies come towards us, it'll all work itself out. Which they did that time. I got the first two.
You need practice.
Have a shot.
Yeah. Psy soldiers are the thing that Donatello seems to have the hardest time with.
Well, in that case, they were all spread out.
That too. But if they don't get knocked up and remain inside the cone of it, like if they jump outside of the cone,
Oh,
then
of course, yeah, that it makes trouble.
right. Which is what tends to happen if they're like jumping in from corners of the screen, things of that nature.
Lord Krang's will shall be done.
Just a minute. It's over. Prepare to face ingenuity.
Drag, on the other hand, cannot be prevented from summoning, but can be defeated pretty quickly. So
Now that's what I call a turtle's team-up.
that was interesting. You don't normally get to see him go up for a third one of those. Not that it mattered much. All right, we want one person high and one person low to get the discs after. Didn't quite work, but it worked out anyway. Now those can be very annoying as a solo player. At least that's my experience.
nice is that you have the laser beam and the claws
Yeah,
to get
it's usually a combination of the laser beam and the disc.
Right. That whichever disc you don't move towards immediately, you have to get it before it gets to the laser, or you're not getting the fastest possible clear on that screen. Which is possible, even as Splinter, but not easy.
And I thought I got through my taunt. Nope.
Yeah, I heard when you started taunting, and I kind of assumed so as well, but not quite. Shredder's not home, so we'll have to make do with store brand Shredder.
Alert.
This is what your mom means when she says we have Shredder at home. Chrome Dome, however, is absolutely not a pushover. He's kind of a puzzle boss, meaning you can't hurt him until you throw somebody at him during this puzzle, during the mode 7 phase. But the high number of enemies that he spawns, and the fact that, especially if you're playing solo, you need to generate that super from attacking enemies while avoiding all the projectiles and the fists.
Have a shot.
I mean, this joke is absolutely no boss, but the other way around.
Oh, come on, again?
Also in co-op, he has a bad habit of magic pixeling and surviving with 1 health, especially if the person who's running the game doesn't hit him when he comes down and is vulnerable. Yeah, we lost 20 seconds there, and virtually all of that was on the boss.
Lost arch enemies.
Yeah, these things happen. Yeah, this game tends to go one of two ways once you start running it a lot. You either have a poor beginning and you're motivated enough that the end of the game goes a lot better, or vice versa. You have a great beginning and you're like stressed out and anxious and end up having input issues and other things of that nature by the time you get to the end. These are the false boost strats that we're demonstrating here, trying to jump over as many of the meteorites as possible.
Try one of these sides.
Have to compare health totals when you finish. So Donnie, well, ideally you all want to stay as close to the front of the screen as possible. That's how you play the game, but Donnie did still win by having the most health.
Yes. Also, shout out to Starman from Mega Man 5.
Shout out to Starman.
Just a minute. Time.
Take this. Teamwork is the way.
Just a minute.
All right, every player's least favorite enemy, the pizza monsters. Because they have a bad habit, which they haven't actually exhibited yet today, except when you accidentally leave them in a state of undeath. Here we go. Unsynced pizza monsters, in which case you have to hit the first one and try to have it hit the ground around the time the second one comes out. That's your backup strat, where you have to time it to leave them both out and vulnerable on the screen at the same time. Let me tell you, that ain't fun.
Teamwork is the way.
Just a minute.
All right. Thankfully, when you have infinite supers, the timing's a little less important. But I was forced to go for that standing super because I didn't have enough time to do another aerial super. Thank you both for the excellent cleanup.
Yeah.
Just a minute.
I figure at the very least, Don will at least hold on to him.
Yeah, for sure. That was necessary, I think. I don't think I would have had everything.
Watch out, super time.
Yep. I mean, a single aerial super generally does it.
Just a minute. Just a minute.
Wait for it.
Watch and learn.
That's what I was waiting for.
Yeah, but I had a vague recollection of how many different waves come on this screen. So I'm like, all right, I got to get this one. And I think somebody else has a super left for the next one. Didn't realize he was that close to coming up. Oh, Andy came back undead. Excellent. Yeah, online co-op has its little eccentricities here and there. Well, it's generally excellent. And I would say for a game of this nature, having responsive co-op is a feat. It does sometimes kind of roll back and try to figure out what's going on as a average of the action on all 3 player screens, and little weird things like that can happen.
Have a shot. Just a minute.
Thankfully, Slash does not have a knockdown state, so you can kind of just keep wailing on him. One of the fastest fights for him is actually, uh-oh. Party foul. There we go. I'll save you.
The worst thing that could have happened.
Yeah, the one move in his arsenal you don't want to see.
Last year.
Now, let's get down to business.
To defeat
Outworld
the
Strange
Huns. Alright, now that we got that constant one out the way, mark that off the card.
He's here, although he was busy noting that Donnie hates swing dancing. Which is also accurate.
Just a minute.
Time for our final exam. As a Teenage Mutant fighting team, you get a little bit of every enemy type in the game, especially the ones you dislike, like the pizza monsters and the mechs here.
And I have the donut now.
Catch this, buddy. Striking vortex. Go.
Dead, Jim.
Try one of these size.
All right. Do original series Star Trek references still play anymore?
No, I
Can
got
say
it.
it's Dead Jim and people will know what I'm talking about?
No, I got you. Don't worry.
Fair. Other people who play Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles will probably get it if no one else.
There's no bones about it.
Ah. Very illogical, but funny.
Damn it, Jim, I'm a turtle, not a doctor.
Just a minute.
Damn it, Jim, I'm a martial artist. I'm a doctor.
Just a minute.
You need practice.
Although I guess a martial artist isn't even true of all the characters in this game. You also have a
Size
street
cyclone.
brawler and a reporter. Although you could reasonably believe that the Turtles taught April how to wield her broadcast materials
Well, I
as
guess it was using the 80s reference for microphone jitsu.
Makes sense for her.
But the comments,
It's all-
the turtles did actually feature.
active minefield. Sorry, everyone.
Mind the mines.
Mind your mind.
Mind the gap.
This.
Indeed. There were a couple of misses there, I would say. I'll go up.
Striking vortex. Just a minute. Set up and.
All right, the last pizza monster screen in the game. Let's see how they behave. Not well.
You need practice.
Thankfully, Donnie can make them stick around, but actually doing enough damage to them to defeat them quickly afterwards is a very different skill.
I think we had a hiccup there. If nothing else.
A little bit.
Just a minute.
Now this is a very good Donnie screen.
I mean, they're all very good Donnie screens.
Oh, better than average. You know what I mean.
Like, if they didn't put the pizza there, this would be a Donnie screen.
Yeah, fair.
I am invincible.
All right. So if we all stay far away from him to start, like back off after doing the initial combo, he should go into his mace move, which is
You're all brains and
keep
no
him
guts,
from separating a
Frank.
little longer.
Just a minute.
Yeah. That helps us get a little bit more damage in. Ideally, he'll do that twice if we stay far away, like get that separation again, but not a huge deal.
Discipline is the key.
The fact that both of you were able to do damage caught me off guard.
Yeah, I was surprised to see that.
I mean, I'm not going to complain. There we go. It's certainly going to save us a lot of time here.
Yes, Conster, affectionately referring to the biosuit as Krangif. Between that and the spinning moves, it's not wrong. All right, let me see if I can do this thing again. I'll lead off and do
The world is mine.
my super immediately afterwards. Only 2 of them hit that time. Might have been an online lag thing. Interesting.
Apparently I was still in range. Oh no.
Shout out to Raekwon and Ghostface from the Wu-Tang. That'll do.
There we go.
You haven't seen the last of me.
Good split.
Wrath of the Lady.
Please rise for the national anthem of the Foot Clan.
Or kneel. At very least, raise a tentacle.
I mean, do whatever Shredder tells you to.
If not, he'll
Oh yeah,
kill you.
spoilers. Spoilers, Shredder's not defeated yet, but we'll get to that in a moment. Oh, much more cooperative dash this time. This is the move you want to see the most. It also has ones where it can put on a little targeting laser and fire lasers at the team, or it can move back a little bit and we're good.
Shut up.
We get the laser noise, but no laser.
I mean,
It also has one rip.
he was getting ready to fire his laser.
It was. It was charging its laser, you might say. Picked up another almost 15 seconds there. Big Apple, 3 a.m.
Alright, time to beat Kevin Nash. Aim for the quads.
I will get my revenge.
Seems like we're not going to have a particularly cooperative Shredder today. Although I did get the Ghost Shredder, everyone's favorite. Ideally, what you want to happen is to have him just keep going into this dashing phase over and over again. As you saw at the very beginning of the fight, he can also teleport and try to grab somebody. So if you get the teleport, or if you get the dash immediately after every time he finishes, he can just go right from one into another dash. In the first phase, you want to see 2 dashes between each vulnerability. In the last phase, you want to see 1 dash. But he can do 3 or 4 dashes in between each time he can become vulnerable. And he can also teleport several times before he dashes again. So there's a decent amount of variability that we try to figure out how to manipulate, mostly by like not staying stone still, so he doesn't have an easy target to teleport to. And that's definitely something we're still working on. Now that he's under 50% HP, goes into his distraction phase. We cut off his ooze supply. Nice and quick.
No dash.
Just
Damn.
a minute.
What I like to see there is him do the dash right afterwards, because then we get the free phase there.
That'll do it.
104.31.
That's what I saw as well.
Yep. Very
Pretty nice. So yeah, that is a companion submission to the one sent in by Nescape, Mr. Cab, and Conster76 as part of our 3 versus 3 race for Game Over Cancer.
Yes.
That might also count as a valid run, depending on who's submitting it. That'd be if BrassWolf is the host and submit it, we can also get it on SRC.
Yeah.
Very cool. Well, thank you for the runs, gentlemen, and think this will be a good time. And I hope it is considered for the marathon. We'd love to show it off.
Yep.
We'd also love to have bragging rights.
Mostly bragging rights.
100%.
Fair. Okay, I went ahead and stopped my local recording. Y'all are welcome